Here is something that might surprise you. A large analysis of multiple studies found that older adults who followed a specific eating pattern had a significantly lower risk of cognitive impairment, and the effect was stronger in people who started the diet after age 60. Not a drug, not a supplement, just food. So what is this eating pattern, and what foods are on the list? Let's break down the science. The eating pattern we are talking about is called the MIND diet. It was developed by researchers at Rush University in Chicago, and it combines elements of two well-known healthy diets, the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. Here is what makes this interesting. In a systematic review published in the Archives of Latin American Nutrition, researchers found that higher adherence to the MIND diet was linked to less cognitive impairment in older adults. And a meta-analysis published in a peer-reviewed journal found that the MIND diet had a significant protective effect against dementia. Now, the researchers are careful to say this does not prove cause and effect, but the pattern is clear enough that the scientific community is paying attention. So, what are the specific foods they recommend? Let us go through them one by one. And you might notice something surprising about this list. The first food on the list is probably not a shock, but the recommendation might be. Green leafy vegetables, kale, spinach, collard greens. The MIND diet recommends at least 6 servings per week. But here is what you might not know. It is not just about eating vegetables in general. In a study analyzing data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, researchers found that higher intakes of nutrients found specifically in leafy greens, like vitamin K, lutein, and folate, were associated with higher cognitive function in older adults. So, if you are already eating salads, you are on the right track. If not, adding a serving of spinach to your morning eggs or a side salad with dinner is something to consider. Now, let us move to something sweeter. And this next one might be the easiest recommendation on the list. Berries, blueberries and strawberries specifically. The MIND diet recommends them at least twice a week. You might be wondering why berries and not, say, apples or bananas. Here is what the research suggests. Berries are rich in compounds called flavonoids, which may help reduce oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain, both of which are factors associated with cognitive decline. Dr. Martha Claire Morris, who led the research team that developed the MIND diet, pointed out that previous studies have shown berries perform particularly well in protecting the brain. The good news? A handful of berries on your oatmeal, or as a snack instead of a cookie, is an easy swap. Something to keep in mind as we go through the rest of this list. Now here is a food that many people overlook: nuts. The MIND diet recommends 5 or more servings per week. But here is what makes this interesting. A study published by researchers at Hanyang University highlighted that the anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects of nutrients in nuts are related to cognitive improvement in older populations. And the type of nut does not seem to matter as much as you might think. Almonds, walnuts, pistachios, they all appear to offer benefits. Now, you might be thinking, but nuts are high in fat. That is true, but the research suggests it is the healthy fats that matter here. A small handful a day is one option to explore. All right, the next category is one that many people are already eating, but maybe not as often as the research suggests. Fish and poultry. The MIND diet recommends fish at least once a week and poultry at least twice. Why fish? Fatty fish like salmon and sardines are rich in omega-3 fatty acids. These have been getting attention from researchers for their role in brain health. One study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease suggested that the mind diet may be a useful long-term approach for supporting cognitive function. And poultry? It is a good source of protein and nutrients without the high saturated fat found in red meat. So, if you are currently eating red meat several times a week, swapping some of those meals for fish or chicken is something you might want to reconsider. Now, let us talk about the foods that may not get as much attention, but the research says they are just as important. Whole grains and beans. The Mind Diet recommends at least 3 servings of whole grains every day, and beans, including lentils and soybeans, at least 4 times a week. Here's what the science says. A systematic review published in BMC Neurology found that sustaining a diverse diet, one that includes a variety of foods like whole grains and beans, may help maintain cognitive functioning. So, it is not just about one food. It is the combination, the variety. You might already be eating oatmeal for breakfast or lentil soup for lunch. If so, you are already on the right track. If not, these are worth considering. Now, before we wrap up, there is one more piece of this puzzle, and it is something that might surprise you. You might have noticed something about all these foods. They are not exotic. They are not expensive. They are not supplements you have to order online. They are everyday foods that most people can find at their local grocery store. And that is the point. The Mind Diet is not about adding strange or complicated foods. It is about eating more of the foods that science suggests may help support brain health, and eating less of the foods that research suggests may not be as helpful. Think of this as one piece of the puzzle, not the whole picture. As always, this video is for educational purposes only. It is not medical advice. Please talk to your doctor before making any significant changes to your diet. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us. The goal here is awareness, not diagnosis. This is a conversation starter for you and your healthcare provider. Take care of your mind. It is the only one you have got. We will see you in the next video.